let's look at the main card, ladies and gentlemen. I look at the main card. I UFC Fight Night. Josh Emmett versus Ilia Topuria. Let's do a quick 8 minutes. And it has started. We'll go straight to the main card since there's not much to talk about that early prelim. Wasn't too dominating of a win by Neil Magny, but maybe we'll get an interesting fight right after, or his next fight should probably be interesting. Let's get right into it. Brandon Allen, Bruno Silva. For some reason, I always, for the longest time, I just have Brandon Allen and Sean Brady, Tom Brady's son, mixed up. I don't know why I do that, but, sometimes it's just that mix sometimes. You just be having that. Well, I have that with Sean Brady and, oh boy. But it's all good. So, yeah, right to the fight. Sean Brady came to bang with the hands, I tell you. And it was somewhat of a show that he put on. Even though the unranked Bruno Silva at times looked like he was going to give him the L, which he eventually didn't, but Brandon Allen somehow, some way, figured a way out of that fight. Everything was, I don't know, it was a back and forth fight. Both fighters were landing punches, everything. It went to the ground for a little bit as well. But Brandon Allen somehow, some way, got himself the dub. I barely remember the fight, to be honest. Baba versus Amanda Ribas, or Ribas. That was pretty fucking wild. I thought that would be the fight of the night, to be honest. But then Ilia versus Josh Emmett. I was one of those believers that Ilia was pretty much going to dominate, but I thought it was just going to be like a knockout and shit. And I mean, I should have kind of known from the last fight that Josh Emmett had that it wasn't going to be like that, Man, them could take a punch and just... Man is made out of fucking granite. I'll tell you what. But back to the other cards, or other fights. Other cards. David Onana, Gabriel Santos. That was one heck of a fight right there, if I don't say so myself. They were getting at it. For a little bit, it was looking like Gabriel might get the dub. I mean, the featherweight division, these lighter divisions, or the lighter weight divisions, are just all looking really nice right now, to be honest, compared to the, obviously the light heavyweights are the weak links. But I mean, it's mainly because these latter guys could take the punch, and I don't know. It's just I feel like there's a lot of talent coming in for these lighter divisions. Even though I believe everybody's in agreement with the bantamweight division. Is it the bantamweight division? Yeah, bantamweight division being the best division in the UFC. I mean, it's hard to agree, with all the guys they got out there. Merab, Sean O'Malley, Henry Cejudo, Corey Sandhagen, so on and so forth. But let's get back to the main card. David Onana, man, them can fight. I don't know if he's going to be in the rankings, but for a little bit, like I said, it did look like, oh boy, Gabriel Santos, because he was looking really nice, striking wise. He was on his ass, but then again, he put in some of that jiu-jitsu on him, but then again, David Onana ended up getting back up, and David Onama. I don't know why I've been calling him Onana for the longest time. It's Onama, for God's sakes. And then he pieced him up, and he hit him with 2 shots that he didn't need to hit him with at the very end. Pretty much 2 hooks that he didn't need to hit him with, and he did it, and pretty much got him out of there. And I think he might have hit him with a hammer fist, which You know, he was out in midair. It was one of those crazy fucking KOs where it's like in slow motion. He was just going backwards and he's down and out and still kept going at it. Then he hit him with the arrows like oh boy Irosanya. Hit him with what, 3 or 4 of those. Then we had the Austin Lane, former I believe Jaguar. He was a former Jaguar. Versus Justin Tafa, brother of the other Tafa. Which was looking like it was going to be a good fight. They started striking, and it was looking all nice and all, but then Austin Lane ended up poking the living shit out of his eyes, pretty much put all of his fist into his eyes, and it didn't look nice at all. Like, it just, you could tell automatically, I'm like, damn, looking like this fight's going to be pretty much going to be a no contest right off the bat, even though it looked like Tafa did want to stick it out and be like, you know, I want to be tough, you know, which you couldn't do. I was kind of surprised that he was still trying to take the 5 minutes, because right off the bat you could just tell his eyes were so freaking messed up. But yeah, so that was a no contest. Probably get to see a rematch of that. But Amanda Ribas versus Macy Barber. What a banger for the women's flyweight division. Macy Barber I believe this is her 5th in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, 13-2. I mean, they've been pushing for Macy. I mean, at least it seems like that the UFC want to push Mrs. Barber, the future Barber. I think that's her, the future. Yeah, it's Macy, the future Barber. Maybe she doesn't have to go that route. She could just be the future, not a barber. Terrible joke right there. Just for the F's of it. But Ribas came in there and started striking and was like putting her hands up and doing this. I mean, she did say in the press conference, she was like hands in the air and started talking like Borat and shit. Saying that pretty much I think she was saying she was going to scrap, and she did, but right off the bat, her nose started bleeding. And Macy Barber started getting at it with the strikings, with the 1-2s and everything. I don't remember seeing much kicking, but when it got to the ground, both fighters pretty much got it back up, and they pretty much got it back to the striking. At least that's from what I remember. Memory's never the greatest after a fight, or pretty much during the whole. I mean, I pretty much forget not too long after. I try to remember my best, but sometimes I just can't. But Ilie Topuria, Josh Emmett. Oh, there goes the duck for the 8 minutes. I'll just finish it up real quick. But Ilie Topuria, Josh Emmett, what a fucking bomb burner. What the hell is this guy Josh Emmett made out of? I don't fucking know. But his chin is made out of some fucking that stuff from the superhero movies. The shit that Wolverine has. Forget what it exactly is. I know one of them is vibranium. Or maybe he's made from the shit that Superman's weakness, Kryptonian. He's a Kryptonian. I'm fucking missing bad. Kryptonite. There we go. But yeah, Ilie was just giving it to him right off the fucking bat. Man, then was hitting him with the straights, everything. And Ilie Topuria's defense, man, is fucking crazy. Or it's just the fact that Josh Emmett is just fucking old or some shit, and he just, you know. How old is Josh Emmett? That's one thing I'm wondering, actually. Holy shit, I didn't know Josh Emmett was 38 years old. I know he was in the Bald Brotherhood, but I didn't know that he was 38 fucking years old. Man, that was born in 1985. That was a long time ago. Shout out to Phoenix, Arizona. But for a 38-year-old, you know, I mean, he pretty much just took 2 to 3 more years off his fucking life, so he's probably 41 years. He's 41 now. After the whooping. See, this is another one of those situations where I'm like, maybe the corner should or could throw in the towel, because he He beat the living shit out of him for 3 fucking rounds, 3 whole fucking rounds. The third round, I was like, oh, he's probably gonna slow down, and which I was right. He did kind of slow down, but then he was like, fuck it, let's pedal to the metal and beat the living shit out of this guy a little bit more, and that's what he kept doing. All around, I'm like, he was stepping in, beating the shit out of him in the clinch, leg kicks. There was a couple times where he literally dropped him or just pretty much almost got him to. But this guy, his balance sometimes is bad. Like he's off, almost like when he throws his shots, as in throws his fists, as in Josh Emmett. Sometimes he's off balance in a weird way. He showed that a little bit in the Rodriguez fight also. But at times, with the kicks, when he was getting kicked in the leg or the calf kicks, you thought, man, he should have gone down with that, but he would catch himself. So it's a weird thing with the balance and all. But there was one, if he didn't squat, he would have been taken down. I believe so. And this guy, fucking Ilia Topuria, I don't know how many good things I could say about this fucker. This Spaniard. One other thing, Sergio Ramos was out in the freaking stands, and these people, I don't know if the UFC guys just didn't know who he was or something. What is this? Ramos like 5-time Champions League winner, maybe more. But he wasn't, like, I don't remember them putting a camera on him. I didn't see too much of the early prelims, but when I was watching, I don't know. I just didn't. When somebody like that is out in the crowd, I mean, they did show a part where him and his girl were popping up, and they're like, Sergio Ramos out here sporting his boy, Ilia Topuria, for fellow Spaniard. But yeah, Ilia Topuria's got some fucking strength, I'll tell you. This man, I mean, he showed it in the Bryce Mitchell fight where he literally grabbed Bryce Mitchell and threw him out to the fucking, or just threw him on the ground like he was a fucking baby or some shit. Well, just the power, like the difference between, I mean, this guy's pretty fucking strong for the division, or I just don't see other people in the division, or at least I haven't seen any other fighter in the division just pick up a fighter and just throw him to the fucking side. Or similar to today, just anytime Josh Emmett would get hit, it's like, that's another week off your life. That's 1 week. That's another week off your life. I mean, it was just week after week until it got to 2 to 3 years off of his life. And Mandem, I was like, man, it's just one of them fights. Somebody might actually die in the fucking ring. That's how I kind of felt for last week's fight too, where Jared was giving the works to Marvin Vettori. I mean, you give it to them like, hey, good shit, but at the same time, like, should somebody do something? Should a ref step in? Should a corner say something? Should the fighter, I don't know, because when the fighter ends up winning, everybody's like, oh, hooray, great fucking job, you came back, that was one of the best comebacks, because if you would have came back and won, that probably would have been one of the fights one of the greatest comebacks in mixed martial arts history, because damn, he was getting his ass fucking whooped. But he obviously didn't, and he literally had bumps all over his fucking head. I mean, it's, as another fellow bald brethren, you could see all the bumps all around his face. He had one in his forehead, his eyes were all bruised. I mean, go look at the pictures if you can right now. Josh Emmett's face is just all bubbled up. He's probably not going to be seeing anything for at least a good week, and but yeah, kind of feel bad for him. Next for old boy Illy, I don't know. They were saying, what was he ranked? I thought he was ranked 5th. Shows that he's ranked 9th. For some reason, I thought he was ranked. I thought I had seen that he was ranked 5th. I mean, he could probably jump Giga, because Giga Gigante really hasn't done anything in a while. The Korean Zombie is facing Max Holloway. Brian Ortega is dealing with an injury. Aaron Arnold just lost to Max Holloway, and he just beat Josh Emmett. And Yair versus Rodriguez. Yair versus Alexander Volkanovski is happening in not too long. So, 3 to 4 months, if one of these guys is available, it's probably going to be... I mean, why not Brian Ortega if Brian Ortega's recovered? Because one of the best fights all time, me personally, was watching was Brian Ortega versus Alexander Volkanovski. If the UFC wants to see that fight again, or maybe they do want to see that fight again, I would love to see that fight again. Rematch. Maybe if Brian Ortega or the winner of Brian Ortega, Ili Topuria, gets Alexander the Great Volkanovski, that would be pretty nice. Damn, I went over 8 minutes just talking about the fucking featherweight division. I mean, it's just there's so much to be said about this damn division. That's the other thing. So I don't know if because Max has already faced Alexander 3 different times. I don't think they're gonna, even though Max is saying he still wants to, probably get another fight with him. Then again, he was also talking about another fight. Was he talking about Dustin Poirier? Or he could probably get Aaron Arnold. That's probably the other fight. But I don't know. Ili Topuria, I feel like he's got that strength where he'll probably do the same shit to everybody else in the division. Oh, Calvin Kattar actually hasn't fought in a while, so it could I tell you, could be Calvin Kattar. It could probably be any of these guys, but I feel like he jumps up. He jumps Giga. He jumps Zombie. He jumps Calvin Kattar. He jumps up. Well, he just beat number 5, so he's most likely going to be 5 or 4th. Or he could actually be 3rd since Aaron Arnold just lost. Brian Ortega hasn't fought in a while, so he could probably jump all those guys. I don't see him jumping Max because it just doesn't make sense, for him to jump Max and be that number 2 guy. So I could see him in 3 or 4. I don't know. He's got a pretty good resume, but this guy is the real deal. At least I think he's the real deal. From what I've seen, if he could do all that shit to the fight, and the other thing is with Paddy the Pimblett, this guy skyrocketed ever since that incident in the locker room or wherever the hell that was, the hotel lobby or whatever the fuck it was. Ever since that incident where him and Paddy Pimblett had. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the watches, and we'll see y'all on YouTube.